So often, if not every day, we hear about God's sovereignty. Sovereignty. What is it? Merriam-Webster defines the word sovereign as one who possesses supreme power, or the one exercising supreme authority. If you apply that into who God is, the sovereignty of God refers to the fact that God is the one possessing supreme power. God is the one exercising supreme authority. And above all things, God is the one who is in control of the whole universe. Let that sink in. I want you to think about a time in your life when things didn't make any sense at all. That might be a time where you got cut from a team, where you didn't get into your dream college. Maybe it was experiencing financial debt or a financial crisis, even losing a loved one. Or maybe even trying to figure out what we're doing in this current season of life. Like me, you've probably experienced a handful of these moments of confusion and questioning. And in these moments, where do our hearts run to? I think all of us start questioning and asking about God's sovereignty. In the book of Job, we understand that Job is an upright, righteous man who loves God, yet he loses everything. He loses his health, he loses his property, his possessions, he even loses his family. He loses everything. And we read that Job was filled with great doubt and confusion. He starts questioning and doubting God's sovereignty in the midst of his suffering. In chapter 38, as Job's doubt and confusion are clouding his view of who God is, we read that God responds by asking Job a series of questions that are impossible to answer. A series of questions that only God could answer himself. And as we continue reading, Job comes to his senses and he repents. He repents of his foolish ways as he is reminded of God's true character. Instead of running away from God in his doubts, Job confronts them. We read in Psalm 115, specifically verse 3, it says, "Our God is in the heavens. He does all that he pleases." God does all that he pleases. I'm not saying that God pleases in giving evil in your life. Rather, when we experience hardships, we need to understand that God's sovereignty impacts our lives every day as it assures us that God is in complete control. Knowing this should remove any, if all, causes of worry. God is in complete control. God's sovereignty goes beyond logic. It goes beyond anything that we can comprehend. In all of it, if God is sovereign, if he is in complete control of the universe, I think all he's asking us to do is trust him. In the first verse of Psalm 115, the psalter starts by giving God all of the glory. He says, "Not to us, O Lord, not to us, but to your name give glory, for the sake of your steadfast love and your faithfulness." It's okay to doubt and be confused. However, in the midst of confusion, doubt, and suffering, God is and always will be steadfast and faithful. His word never returns void. So as we read this psalm, God deserves all of our trust. He deserves all of the glory, and he deserves all of our praise. And for me, I have always struggled with understanding God's sovereignty and trusting God is in control. Specifically in this current season of life, as I'm finishing up grad school, as I am seeking out other opportunities within the church, and even looking at other job opportunities, it's hard for me to trust and try to take control of these things. Yet I'm reminded of God's truth. I'm reminded that God is steadfast, and I'm reminded of his faithfulness. God is in control of the universe, which means he is in control of my entire life. So when things don't make sense, remind yourself of God's word, of God's sovereignty. God is in complete control. Will you trust him?